Hello, welcome back to the H-Trex YouTube channel. Today we're on Dartmoor and we're trying to find a ruined World War II Navy plane. We'll be also trekking 10 kilometres of on-path Dartmoor wilderness. Really is just so beautiful up here. You can see so much. I'm just going to quickly show you. As you can see there, I believe that's Yes Tor and West Mill. You can actually see the Meldon Reservoir as well, and that is just so pretty. You can see so far out today because it's such a clear day. Nothing like what I was kind of doing a week ago where it was just so rainy you couldn't see anything. Complete opposite in weather conditions. It's just so beautiful. I'm really glad that I've found a path, because it was just me trying to find patches of ground that wasn't bog. Kind of crossing over a little, almost looks like a frozen bit of bog here. It's fine because we got this path. Looks like someone's kind of driven over it, and it does set out a nice route for me to go to Shelston Tor. That is our first target, Shelston Tor, and I'll tell you as we start heading towards them now. So our first target, which is Shelston Tor, is actually not really marked on maps because it's a low-lying tor. It is about 400 meters high, about 399 actually. There's also potential Loganstone on it as well. And basically what a Loganstone is, it's like a large kind of stone that balances and it can rock side to side without falling over. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I guess we're just going to find out. What I have noticed is Corntor and Brascomb's loaf. I didn't realise how large it is. And little additional fact, it seems Yes Tor, which is a large tor than Corntor, looks like it has less snow than what Sawton and Corntor is. So I don't know why. Right, it's time to cross this little river. I'm not too sure. I was looking up from the Tor, and this is the sort of situation we have. It's you can see that's a little bit boggy, so this is why I've brought my stick today, because I know that some of this sort of mud, your feet are just going to go your feet's just going to go straight in it, so got to be careful. And luckily we've got through it okay. I'm not too sure what the sort of terrain I'm expecting is upcoming, because I do see another little sort of what looks like could be a little stream going down to the reservoir. So I just gotta kind of see how that sort of goes. But yeah, I'm really glad that I've got this sort of little path where I can see where I'm going. Obviously it's been driven on, or people have walked this before, so it's not that bad at all. I've basically got the same gear I had on in my last video, so check that video out. That sort of at the start, about a minute in, shows what I'm sort of wearing today. I'm wearing both the trousers, the Cray Copper trousers, and my Peter Storm bottoms, because I wasn't too sure how boggy it was going to be. I've also come up to this bit here, as I'll just quickly show you. As you can see, I thought that was going to be a problem, because when I was coming over sort of this way here, over and up around, obviously that looks much larger, but this little path here looks to me as if it's good. So I'm a lucky man. I really like when I have a good start, because if your start's a bit crap and you've got a bit lost, then kind of your hike's a bit ruined. But no, heading up now So we're climbing up the tour, and this will be our first tour of the day. I've made it. Shelston tour done. We had a few minor issues coming up. That was just a few bogs, so no big problems. I'm gonna go climb up to the top of it and show you guys the view. Absolutely stunning. And I believe we've also found the Logan Stone. I could see it as I was coming up through the path there. I just saw this flat stone just kind of balancing, and it's almost amazing of how it's just ended up like that, you know what I mean? I don't know if that one is as well. I don't know if it's that one or that one, but it is pretty astonishing, I have to admit. And obviously it's just so beautiful out here today. Dartmoor is just 20 times as beautiful when you can just actually see it and there's no rain or heavy fog, because you can just see all of this. It's spectacular. So my plan is to head into the valley. We've got a few more interesting attractions coming up, such as Slipper Stones and the PB4Y1 crash site. That's going to be really interesting. So let's try and safely get down here, 400 meters up in the air, get down to what? Get down 200 meters at least, 100 meters. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm not looking forward to if it's going to be boggy or not. And yeah, we'll just have to see how we go. I've sort of figured out my route downwards. I had to go through a little bit of a boggy bit. I can kind of see the path I want to take. So it's just about getting down now. Is it left or right should I go? I think I'm going to try and go down leftish. I see some, I believe I see some tyre marks, some tyre tracks even, sorry. And that's the sort of direction I want to head in anyway. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I've taken a slightly steeper route, but this one's less boggy, so I prefer this. And yeah, I'm going to meet you when I get safely down. I'll fill you in where I'm at. Right, I've got down, all okay. Don't know what sort of territory I'm now going into, because I'm trying to almost make this diagonal line. And I do see some sort of trail, so I'm glad about that. The terrain is a little bit bumpy, just taking it slow, as you have to. So I'm on my track now. Had to jump over this bog. There's this, as I said, I knew this sort of track would be boggy, so I had to be careful, have to be careful. And I'm happy that I'm not just treading in unmarked bog though, because once you're in that sort of, oh shit, I don't know where I'm going, that's where the fun begins. So I'm just going to continue on this track, try and avoid the bogs where I can, and head for our next one, which is Slipper Stones. As we're coming up to Slipper Stones, what I wanted to say about that is the reason why they're called Slipper Stones is because obviously when it gets to these sort of conditions, these icy conditions, they become extremely slippery, and that's because the stone is actually so smooth. And what is speculated about these Slipper Stones is the fact that there used to be a glacier there. So what happened with this glacier is it almost grinded the stone smooth as it was coming down the hill, and that's why they're so smooth, these stones, and so slippy. And I'll show you what I mean about that when I get there. I'll tell you what, this sort of trek, I'm having to concentrate so hard of where my track is because there's so many little diversions, little bogs, little turn-offs. And the thing is, I don't fancy going the sort of wrong direction, getting stuck and not knowing where I bloody am. So obviously it's really important for me to focus. So I'm probably not getting as much sort of video as I want to, but I think I'd rather kind of go the right way instead of in bog or even, you know, off path. And this is what I'm gonna have to do now. I'm almost having to make this sort of, that's my track there. I've got all this bog and obviously it continues on over there. I'm having to go this sort of way here. And yeah, that isn't awful, but luckily I've got the rocks to sort of guide me. And you know what, you put some weight on it and you might go in. So you've got to be careful where you step in, because I don't fancy going foot deep in a bog again. When you go knees deep in a bog, you don't want to do it again. It's not that good. Right, I'm starting my ascent. I didn't realise, but I was really close to the river. I actually needed to be slightly higher up, but it's okay because I've gone through the worst of the bog, which is down there, and I had a track, so that's okay, because coming up through this bit here, I see no bog, so that's good. I don't know how high I want to get. I think I almost see a path up there, so it's a little bit higher than I wanted to, but I get a bit closer to the Slipper Stones, so hopefully everything kind of goes all right. Obviously I'm not going to film too much of this incline, it's only an incline obviously. And I've done it. I've climbed up, climbed up all the way down the bottom there, just by the river. More of an incline than you think, because there's a little bed of rocks just where my finger is that I had to climb up. That was okay. And now we're at Slipper Stones. I don't know if you can see that any well, but you see there, those smooth stones, they look bloody slippery. I'm not climbing up that way. And there's a few more around the corner there as well. But yeah, it's crazy. A few million years ago, this is where an iceberg, or sorry, a glacier might have been. All right, I've just sat down for a second. I'm having to charge my phone because my phone is only on 40%. But we've just sat down, had a little pepperami, little bag of crisps, some water just to fuel up before heading on. I think I know what sort of route I'm going to take. I'm going to get my phone to about, I think I'm going to get my phone to about 50%, and then I'll continue filming. But I'm going to head on. Anything else I find, I'll start filming. But yeah, I'm on my way. Right, basically I'm nearly there. I've been just trekking unmarked, unpathed, sorry, land. I've got the OS point, so I kind of know where I'm going. I'm a bit too high at the moment, so gotta go down. Gotta go down a little bit. It's gonna be hard to see because of this snow. As you can see, there's blooming snow. And but hopefully we can find it, because it'll be really great to try and get on film. But yeah, for the time being, I'm going to continue my journey. After walking down this really steep bank, I have found the wreckage. And here it is. This is the PB-4Y1 US Navy plane. Obviously it's really sad. 10 men died when in 1947, I believe on like the 28th of December, they were coming back from a mission around France and Spain, and they came over Dartmoor. They hit a thick fog, and then they crashed into one of the tors, and some of the debris came down and is right in front of me right now. And in the 60s, a lot of the plane got moved, but some of it still remains here. So yeah, we have found the US Navy plane, the remains of it. All right, so I'm just heading straight up the tor now. It's going to be very steep, so I'm not going to be recording this. 2 hands if I fall, you know. Obviously, just seeing the crash site. It's very real, you know. And things like that happen in life. But there you go. That's history, isn't it? Back to civilization. I've found footprints out of nowhere. I'm so happy. Obviously, I've just, for the last hour, oh, here's the sun over the tor. For the last hour, I've been just been trekking my own sort of path. Oh, that was a heck of a climb. Still not out of it. I got myself back in a bit of a rut, so luckily I found myself another path. Been saved by the paths again. Well, I don't think this is a proper path, but it was better ground than what I was in before, so I prefer to take this sort of route. Sure, it's a little bit boggy. You got to go over some little like kind of streams, but other than that, at least it's kind of taking me directly to where I need to go. So, holy moly, that was a bit slippy. Got to be careful from where I step now. We have made it, thank God. Rancome's Loaf, right in front of me. Do you want to see what I've just done? Because it's horrible, and it's not a track. I've just gone all over that, and it's just one big, it's not that deep, but yeah, I'd be scared. I think I would have been crying if it was, you know, that sort of yes tall deep all the way through. That's not safe. Here we are, Rancome's Loaf. There we go, Rancome's Loaf. There's a nice folklore legend about this tour here, basically. So basically, a 13th century priest was walking across Dartmoor with one of his, I don't know, I think it was one of his servants or something like that. And basically, he came across a man who was offering them bread and cheese. And the servant, basically, there's 2 different stories. One of the stories is that he flung the bread and cheese out of the man's hand, and the other one is that he just told the priest not to eat the bread and cheese, because what he saw was under the man's robes was hooves, and so therefore they realized that he was the devil. And basically what happened was the bread and cheese was flung, and what happened? Turned into Brancombe's loaf, which is really cool little story. The absolute view here, we're still on Brancombe's loaf. Oh my goodness, it's incredible. I'm just going to show you a second. That is just how beautiful Devon is. Oh my goodness, incredible. So clear, you can actually see the moors over, I believe that's Exmoor way. Wow. So as you can see, I'm actually going to start heading back to Sawton. I'm not going to go to Corntour today, only because my phone's dying. It's getting a bit late, but I just want to show you this view. Oh my goodness, that is Meldon Reservoir over there. I'm sure I'll do something on those sort of tours later on. Obviously you got like a Yes tour over that direction as well, and I don't know if you can, where am I? Oakhampton's over this way, Sawton's kind of over here, Bridgestow's kind of over that way, and Lidford's that way. So I'm on my way back now. I'm going to start heading to Sawton Tour over there. Yeah, my phone is dying. I've just climbed down Corntour. Behind me is Sawton Tour. I've actually made it, thank God. And it's been a heck of a journey so far. We're on the 100 metres now, on the sprint back home. So I'm going to get to Sawton Tour, take a few photos for you guys. We'll start the descent as soon as possible. I'm now up on Sawton Tour, finishing off. Nice tomato soup. It's been a heck of a journey, guys. Nearly 10 kilometres, some incredible inclines as well. And even my tomato soup's gone a bit cold because it is pretty cool up here. I realised I think I've just gone past a stone, like a little stone circle as well. Anyway, I can see that in the distance, so that's cool. It's just so quiet out here. It's beautiful. So I'm on Sawton Tour now, and got a great story about how there was an iceworks here actually. So as I start going down, I'll show you where that was, and I'm going to enjoy my soup, chill up here for a minute. We'll head down and we'll talk about that. Alright, it's time to go. Okay, so we're coming up to it. It doesn't look like a factory, but I assure you it is. Here, you see that there's cows. You see that there's some nice kind of bumps. These weird, almost, as you can see, hills, man-made hills. And basically, in 1875, Sawton opened an ice factory. And so what happened is they would fill these with water from a, I don't know, from a pipe, I guess. And these sort of areas would fill up, and obviously because it gets so cold and there's so much snow, they'd freeze, and then you'd obviously get ice. And they'd sell them to like Plymouth, obviously for like the fishermen and everything like that. And that's how it worked. But sadly in like, I think it was 1886, it got shut down because of winters not being cold enough for the ice to be productive, and also artificial ice factories were being produced at the time. so it was much cheaper for that than obviously to make ice up here. But that is a cool little fact for you. I'll show you this thing over here as well. And here we are, another little basin here. It's just full of water, and then you get your ice. So cool little fact. My last fact of the day is that my dad lived on Pruney Moor, which is where I parked my car. So Pruney Moor, Babe Salt and Toss, it's kind of same thing, just down there. My dad grew up there because my granddad, he was in the waterworks, he was working for the waterworks, and so he grew up as a lad here. So quick shout out for those two. Alright, I'm just now walking back to the car. So that is the video done. I hope you guys enjoyed this interesting video. Sorry if I didn't get as much footage as last time. Obviously this hike I was more unfamiliar with, and also I just wanted to focus on the track that I was on, because if I kind of made a bad move, then that would have not been good for me. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. Comment me if you want to know anything. And yeah, see you in the next one.